Leo, sitting in the greasy internet cafe, watched his followers drop from 100K to 0 in real time. His verified badge vanished. People in the cafe started recognizing him. "Yo, isn't that the med thief?" a guy at the next PC shouted. "He's cancelled for real. Get out of here, you trash-tier human." Leo tried to run, but he tripped over his own oversized suit pants. He fell face first into a pile of budget snacks. People were filming him, laughing, and throwing L signs in the air. He crawled out of the cafe, realizing that his PR stunt had just turned into his funeral. He was now the most hated man on the server. He reached for his phone to call Clara, to beg for mercy. But his screen just showed a giant image of the mustard yellow coat, with the words, "Block list updated. Don't call, don't text, don't breathe in my direction." Leo was officially at rock bottom. No home, no clout, and even the stray cats in the alley were ghosting him. But his brain, which was basically a factory for bad decisions, came up with one last, toxic plan. "If I can't gaslight her into giving me the bag, I'll guilt-trip her into a settlement," Leo whispered, his eyes gleaming with fake tears. "Everyone knows mothers are soft for their kids. I'll just fake a medical emergency. A heart attack caused by the stress of being cancelled. She'll have to pay for my recovery in a 5-star private hospital. It's the perfect remaster of my original plan." He used his last 1% of battery to call a shady ambulance service, the kind that doesn't ask questions if you pay them with a stolen watch. He told them to drop him off right in front of Clara's new high-rise penthouse. Cut to Clara's penthouse entrance. The shady ambulance pulled up with sirens blaring, a low-budget sound that Clara could hear from the 50th floor. Leo was on a stretcher, acting like he was disconnecting from life. "Ma, call my ma!" Leo screamed, clutching his chest like he'd just taken a critical hit. "I'm fading. The stress, the cancel culture, it's killing my vibes." A crowd of paparazzi started filming. This was peak drama. Leo thought, yes, the sympathy buff is activating. She'll come running down in her mustard yellow coat and hand me a blank check while crying. But Clara didn't come down. Instead, the giant holographic screen at the penthouse entrance flickered to life. It was Clara, sitting in a spa robe, drinking a $500 green smoothie. "Leo," Clara's voice boomed through the high-fidelity speakers. "I see you're having a system crash. How unfortunate. But instead of coming down and wasting my face card on your drama, I've decided to send you a specialist to check your vital stats." Suddenly, a sleek silver medical drone, basically a robot doctor, flew out of a hidden hatch in the building. It hovered over Leo on the stretcher, its red lasers scanning him from head to toe. "Initiating fraud scan," the robot's voice chirped. Leo started sweating. "Yo, what is this cyberpunk junk? Get this thing away from me. I'm having a real heart glitch." The drone's screen turned green. Vital signs, 100% optimal. Heart rate, steady. Blood pressure, literally better than a marathon runner. Diagnosis, 100% cap. The drone then projected a giant holographic lie sign over Leo's head. The crowd burst out laughing. "Wait, there's more," Clara's voice said, sounding absolutely savage. "My medical drone also scanned your pockets, Leo. It found a receipt for a bottle of fake blood and a script you wrote for yourself, titled, 'How to Scam Your Millionaire Mom for Dummies.'" The drone's claw arm reached down and pulled the script out of Leo's pocket, dropping it right in front of the cameras. The paparazzi zoomed in on the words. "Step 1, fall down and act cringe. Step 2, demand $5 million for emotional damages." Leo's sympathy bait had just turned into a global meme. "Leo," Clara said, leaning into the camera with a cold smirk, "you tried to exploit my motherhood, but you forgot that I've already uninstalled that emotion for you. You're not my son anymore. You're just a failed prototype that I've discontinued." She then signaled Michael, her security lead. "Michael, since the medical drone says he's perfectly healthy, call the police for filing a false report and harassment. And tell the ambulance drivers that their payment, that watch Leo gave them, was actually a $5 flea market knockoff I bought 10 years ago." The ambulance drivers looked at the watch, realized they'd been scammed, and literally dumped Leo's stretcher into a puddle before speeding off. "Wait, no, I'm actually stressed now," Leo yelled, but it was too late. 2 real police officers arrived and slapped handcuffs on him. "Leo Sterling," the officer said, "you're under arrest for grand-scale fraud and digital harassment. You're going to a low-tier jail with zero Wi-Fi." As Leo was being shoved into the back of the police car, he looked up at the penthouse one last time. Clara was standing on the balcony, holding a mustard yellow silk scarf, waving it at him like a victory flag. She didn't look sad. She didn't look angry. She looked final boss level happy. "Leo," she whispered, though he couldn't hear her. "You wanted to be famous. Well, congratulations. You're now the face of fraud for the entire planet. Enjoy the L." The police car drove away, and the digital billboard in the city center updated its text. "Current status. Clara is queen. Leo is criminal. Ratio remains unbeaten." Leo was broken, but his toxicity was still at 100%. He knew he couldn't get to Clara directly anymore, so he decided to use the ultimate legal hack: marriage. "Listen, Tiff," Leo whispered, leaning over his soggy fries. "My mom, Clara, she's got $90 million in a vault. If I get married, according to the old-school laws in this state, I can claim a family hardship allowance from her estate. All we gotta do is get hitched, post the vibe on Instagram, and then sue her for spousal support, because I'm technically her dependent son with a new family to feed." Tiffany popped her gum, her eyes glowing with greed. "So, it's a fake marriage play? I like the meta. But I want 40% of the settlement, and I want a verified ring for the photos." "Bet," Leo smirked. "We'll make it look so wholesome, the media will have to side with us. Poor homeless son finds love and asks millionaire mom for a blessing. The optics are perfect." Cut to 2 weeks later, a budget wedding chapel. Leo and Tiffany were all in. They'd invited every low-budget tabloid they could find. Leo was wearing another rent-a-tux. This time he'd actually removed the tag, and Tiffany was in a dress that looked like it was made of cheap curtains. "I do," Leo shouted, looking directly into the cameras. "I'm now a family man. Ma, if you're watching, we're ready to move into the penthouse. Don't be a gatekeeper to our happiness." Suddenly, the chapel doors swung open. It wasn't the police this time. It was Clara's high-tier lawyer, holding a gold-trimmed briefcase. "Madam Clara sends her congratulations," the lawyer said, his voice dripping with sarcastic energy. "She's so moved by this wholesome union that she's decided to give you exactly what you wanted. A family partnership agreement." Leo's eyes lit up. "The bag! She's finally sharing the loot." "But," the lawyer continued, "since this is a billionaire-tier family now, you and your bride must sign this mandatory prenup and trust integration form. It's just legal fluff to make sure the $90 million stays in the family." Leo didn't even read it. He was too busy flexing for his 10 remaining followers on his new couple's account. He grabbed the pen and scribbled his name. Tiffany did the same, thinking she'd just secured her retirement. "Excellent," the lawyer smiled, a look that meant game over. "Madam Clara will see you in the boardroom tomorrow to discuss your allowance." Next day, Clara's 50th floor boardroom. Clara was sitting at the head of a mahogany table, wearing her mustard yellow silk scarf, looking like the final boss of the entire corporate world. "Welcome, newlyweds," Clara said, her voice like ice. "I've reviewed the family partnership agreement you signed at the wedding. Do you know what you actually signed, Leo?" Leo leaned back, trying to look alpha. "The deal where you give us $5 million to start our lives? Yeah, standard stuff." Clara laughed, a cold, savage sound. "No, Leo. You signed a debt integration clause. You see Tiffany here? She's not just a clout chaser. My private investigators found out she's actually $500K in debt to various shady credit card companies." Tiffany's face went ghost white. "And according to the partnership you signed," Clara continued, "you, Leo Sterling, have officially inherited all of your wife's debts. Furthermore, by merging your family status with mine, you've also acknowledged the $1 million debt you owe me for the defamation trial." Leo's chair suddenly felt very uncomfortable. "Wait, what? Where's the allowance?" "The allowance is the privilege of working for me to pay it back," Clara said, throwing a janitor's schedule on the table. Since you're now a family unit, I've decided to hire both of you. You'll be cleaning the toilets in my new shelter for seniors, the one I built with the lottery money. Your combined salary will be $15 an hour, which will go directly toward paying off your $1.5 million total debt. Leo stood up, his vibe completely shattered. It's unethical. Actually, Clara said, leaning forward, her eyes piercing through him. It's a binding legal contract. You didn't read the fine print, Leo. Again. You were too busy simping for the cameras to realize you were signing your own death warrant for your finances. Tiffany looked at Leo, realized he didn't have the bag, and immediately unfollowed him in real life. I'm out. This guy is a fraud. I'm filing for an annulment. Too late, Tiffany, Clara smiled. The contract says no annulments for 24 months or the debt triples. You're stuck with him. In the mud. Clara stood up, adjusted her mustard yellow scarf, and walked toward the door. Michael, show them to the cleaning supply closet. And make sure they don't use the luxury soap. They're on a budget now. Leo sat there, staring at a mop and a bucket, while the cameras outside, the ones he'd invited, were now filming his new job as a janitor. The headline on the local news? From fake billionaire to real janitor. Leo Sterling's ultimate L. Leo was standing in the middle of a busy street, alone, with a broken phone and a cooked reputation. He looked up at a giant digital billboard in Times Square. It was a picture of Clara holding her $90 million check, with the caption, "Stay loyal or stay broke. #Clara's rules." Leo was seething. He went from millionaire wannabe to toilet technician in 48 hours. Every time he looked at his reflection in the bucket of soapy water, he saw a failed spawn. But his toxic brain was already rendering a new plan. "Tiff, stop the waterworks," Leo hissed, checking the hallway for Clara's security. "This janitor life is just a temporary glitch. Tomorrow night is Ma's big charity gala. All the high-tier investors, the whales, and the mainstream media will be there. If we sabotage the event, like make it a total disaster, her reputation will be cooked. She'll lose her sponsors, the board will cancel her, and she'll have to beg me for help to fix the PR." Tiffany looked up, her fake eyelashes hanging by a thread. "How? We're NPCs now. We don't even have access to the VIP server." "I've got the keys, literally," Leo smirked, jingling his janitor's keychain. "I'm gonna overload the main server room right before her big speech. I'll make the holographic display show a bunch of fake documents I made that make her look like she's money laundering. While everyone is malfunctioning, I'll leak the story to the tabloids. It's a pro-gamer move." Cut to the gala night, the grand ballroom. The room was glowing. It was filled with the 1%, the elite players. Clara was at the center of the stage, wearing a mustard yellow silk gown that cost more than Leo's entire existence. She was about to give a speech on the future of aging with dignity. "She's so full of it," Leo whispered from the shadows of the server room. He was surrounded by blinking lights and high-tier hardware. He'd managed to bypass the basic security because, well, he was the janitor. Time to install the virus. "Goodbye, Queen Clara." "Hello, Queen of Scams." He plugged in his shady USB drive and hit execute. On the main stage, the giant 8K screen started flickering. The music glitched. The crowd started whispering. Leo was watching from a tablet, his face lit up with evil joy. "Yes, the ratio is shifting. Any second now, those screens will show my fake tax returns for her." But then, the flickering stopped. A giant red System Override logo appeared on the screen. Clara didn't stop her speech. She didn't even lag. She just tapped her smartwatch. "Ladies and gentlemen," Clara said, her voice amplified by the room's 7D surround sound. "It seems we have a security breach in the server room. Someone is trying to inject a malicious script into our system. But they forgot that I didn't just buy this building. I bought the security AI that runs it." The screen suddenly changed. It didn't show fake tax returns. It showed a live stream of the server room. The entire crowd, and the millions watching at home, saw Leo wearing his janitor uniform, frantically hitting keys on a laptop. They saw his USB drive with the label "Sabotage Plan Final V2." Leo was never good at naming files.